Hello, saboteurs and supporters. Welcome to my room. This is genuinely my actual a picture of my actual room that I took a few days ago. It is, yeah, no, it's substantially more messy now, but yeah. So I'm moving. In case you didn't know, in case that information passed you by, I'm moving, and that's gonna be what most of my January is spent on. So yeah, not a lot of videos, but I did want to make a video for and about Patreon, about the Patreon page and some changes that are going to have to come to the page in the new year. If you just want to know what the changes are and so on, there's a TLDR in the description of the video and also in the post on Patreon if that's where you're watching it. If you want refunds for any of your support, that can be arranged. There's going to be details about just contact me on Patreon and we'll talk about it and we'll figure out how to get you a refund for some of the support you've given. If you feel like you're unhappy with the changes, or if you feel like you didn't get what you needed or wanted out of the Patreon, refunds are available. So, if that's all you wanted to know, just read that and bye, thank you. But if you want to hear a little bit more about the changes that are coming and why they are happening, stick around, because I'm going to sort of extemporaneously go over them. Now, I'm pretty snotty and a little bit loopy-headed because I'm moving. The whole apartment is full of dust, like from under furniture that hasn't been moved in 5 years, and it gets in my nose and it makes me very snotty and makes my voice a little rough. And I am kind of vibrating a little bit with all the shit I have to do. So this is going to be a little extemporaneous, a little bit all over the place, but I'm going to do my best to sort of go over things in turn. Now, there's two reasons why the Patreon is changing. The first one is that the channel has doubled in size. Well, the subscriber count has doubled in size. The channel is just still me. So it's not, there's not two of me now. That would be cool. But there isn't, unfortunately, two of me now. It's still just me, but the subscriber count has doubled in the last year, which, by the way, that's that's bonkers. That is crazy. That's a lie. We went from like 80-something thousand to 161,000, I think, at the time of recording in a year, which is a lot. That's many. And that some changes have come along with that, unfortunately and fortunately. That mean that things are going to have to change on the Patreon as well. The second reason is that the rewards I was offering on this Patreon were not fit for purpose, which is to say, number one, I couldn't provide a lot of those rewards. Like, I wanted to, but I just wasn't able to. And number two is like, a lot of it doesn't really seem to be stuff that people care that much about, ultimately. And so I should offer something better, I feel. So that's what I'm trying to do with these changes. And these are not final. Like I'm going to ask you guys for feedback, especially if you're a Patreon supporter. Let me know what you think of this. And let me know if you have any ideas for rewards I could offer that would be compelling and good, like something that you actually genuinely want. And I'll take that on board and sort of try and think further about it. Sorry, I'm stuttering. If you're gonna sneeze, just sneeze. Okay, there was a sneeze in my nose that didn't want to come out. That was unpleasant. Anyway, first of all, one of the rewards I offer on all the tiers is topic voting on videos. Now, if you've been a supporter on the Patreon, you may have noticed that that's not a thing that's happened. There hasn't been any voting on video topics on the Patreon for a good long while now. And the reason for that is pretty simple, that there has just never been room for it in my schedule. Because I am behind, I have, like, when I started the channel way back in the day, some years ago, I did videos very quickly. Like, there'd be multiple videos per week. In some periods, I did videos every single day. And so there was room for me to say, hey, people want to suggest a topic? I'll just go over that one and do that one real quick, because I could make a video in a day. And that was because the videos were much lower quality back then. I was much less likely to even write a script for them. They were much more like this, really. I just turned on a microphone and talked out my ass. Well, not out my ass, but, you know, there wasn't a lot of editing. There wasn't a lot of research, particularly. And so I could produce videos much faster, but they were also worse. I gotta say, I'm not really very proud of a lot of them now, especially like the oldest "What's the Deal" videos. Don't feel proud of what they looked like anymore. But that was kind of, you have to start somewhere, right? But back then I had, I won't say I had plenty of time, but I had time between other videos to say, hey, do you guys want to suggest something? I'll just bang one out real quick about that. That's not really an option anymore. Like my production quality has increased a lot, which I'm very happy with. I'm really proud of a lot of the work I did this year. Like What's the Deal with Shyvana, I was really proud of. I'm still really proud of both boss designs of Dark Souls 2 and boss designs of Bloodborne. But because of that, because making a video takes so much longer now, it's really a lot harder to make time to make a video on a topic that people suggest. It's also, just in terms of business, it's risky. Because if people vote on a topic and it's a topic that's just not good for the algorithm, like that's just not going to be popular with my audience, and so it's going to get much lower view count, that actually kind of hurts me on the channel. Like that means the algorithm looks at that video, goes, oh, he made a video that was really unpopular with his audience. Well, that sucks. Guess we'll show some of his future videos to fewer people because people are clearly not as interested in his content right now. So making a video that's on a topic that I can't control kind of had that risk of like, oh, now I'm locked into doing a video about this unpopular topic, and that can have business consequences. So I also felt like this professional pressure not to do it because YouTube would punish me for it, which sucks. Like, because I really do kind of want to do videos on topics from patrons, but it's risky, and that just made it hard to do. And because it was hard to do, and because I had so much other stuff I needed to do, I just never found the time to poll about topic suggestions, and I never found time to do videos about it. So that's been going to be going away from all tiers. I can't offer that anymore. I can't reasonably make that part of the offering. So that's going to go away from all tiers. First of all, the second thing I still offer, is a Q&A vlog. That was going to go up monthly, where I sort of get people ask questions about things, and I sort of try and answer them in a sort of vlog format. That kind of fell by the wayside as well, partly because, well, people have plenty of access to me to ask questions in the comments, on Curious Cat before that thing imploded, on Twitter. Like, I answer people's questions in lots of places, on the Discord as well. And so, like, there wasn't really a lot of need to use it on Patreon, because you could get your question answered elsewhere. So I'm gonna start that up again. I'm gonna solicit questions specifically. Like, I'm gonna be asking you to submit them more actively, and sort of try and get that going a little bit. And that's gonna be a podcasty sort of thing, probably using my VTuber avatar with a little bit of editing once a month, going up on the Patreon and on Tubi's Guy on the second channel. Because I kind of want to start that back up, and also I'm going to stop answering questions as much on Curious Cat on Discord. Like, I'm just gonna, if you want to ask me questions, we're gonna put it in the Patreon thing, because like it needs to be worth something, and also because this sort of ties into the other thing. The channel has gotten so much bigger. I'm getting so many more emails nowadays than I ever did before. Just so many more comments, so many more, like, so much more sort of hate messages and stuff from people who dislike me, and it's just so much more everything that's taking up a lot of my time to deal with. And Curious Cat and sort of answering questions is one of those things that like has been taking up more and more and more time, because I get more and more input from people asking me about things and stuff. And one thing that's going to happen going forward is that I'm going to have to do less of that. Like, I have to, both for my mental health, but also just because of there just isn't enough time in the day. In the new year, I'm going to have to step back a little bit more from being as active in directly responding and interacting with people. And I'm not really happy about that, but that's just kind of the reality of the situation, that's kind of how it has to go. Because when the channel went from like doubled in size, it also like it more than doubled in number of views sometimes in a month, and it's certainly like it also doubled the amount of comments that I get. And I don't know if you know this, but I have actively moderate my comments on the main channel. Like I've always actively read every single comment that gets posted on a video. Not every reply to comments. YouTube doesn't show me those, but every comment that gets posted on a video, I read. And I sort of like, okay, I sort of take them in and I actively moderate. So like if there's slurs or like people just throwing personal insults around or whatever, I go in and I delete that stuff. If there are people starting fights or being assholes in the replies, I sort of try and curb that as much as I can. And I try and protect legitimate criticism. Like sometimes people leave me comments that are kind of rude, but which have some legitimate, like good, what seems to be good faith criticism of the video or the things that I say. And so one of the things I do when I see that, okay, like I can tell that comment, because it's rude, because it has like kind of a negative tone, a lot of people are going to jump on it and be like, hey, why are you being mean to the guy? Like fans and something going to be like, hey, you misunderstood, you're being rude, you're being an asshole. And so when I see a good comment like that, I'll usually, maybe I'll leave a heart on it, and I'll usually monitor the comments there to make sure that people aren't like getting into huge fights in the replies to those comments, because like sometimes there are good criticisms that I don't want to delete them because they're good, and I also don't want the person who made that criticism to get dogpiled, and so like I spend quite a bit of time on that. With the channel doubling in size, as you can probably figure out, there's a lot more of that, and it's becoming harder to manage. And it became a lot harder to manage because I started a shorts channel this year as well, which it's not bigger than the main channel yet as I record this, but it's going to get there in the next few days. It's going to be it's going to be bigger than my main channel. And because shorts are boosted in the algorithm, and because they were only 60 seconds long, they receive a lot more views and a lot more attention and get a lot more widely spread in the algorithm. They also get a lot more comments. Like, my God, there's a lot of comments on the shorts channel. And I used to try and moderate that one as well. Can't be done anymore, I'm afraid. I'm going to have to, for the shorts channel, I now have made the decision to fully turn that over to YouTube's automatic algorithm. Like, I've just written out like a list of word filters of things that are like, okay, this is like, these are just insults, these are just slurs, don't let those through. And I'm just going to have to trust that the YouTube algorithm and my word filter can sort of more or less manage to keep that channel bearable, like so that the comment section doesn't become a fucking cesspool. But I'm not actively moderating that channel anymore. Like, I try to read the comments on each new short at least for a couple of days after it goes up, and then I kind of have to check out because it's thousands of comments on some of them, like thousands and thousands, and I can't. I cannot moderate it anymore. And so the main channel also suffered for that because I spent so much energy on the shorts channel that it just kind of drained me for doing stuff on the main channel. Made that harder to moderate. So that I've turned that one over to the wolves, basically, and just hoping that my word filters do their job. And on the main channel, I'm still going to moderate it closely, as closely as I can, but it has to be less now. Like, I have to step back from that. And that's also part of the reason why I have to step back a little bit from interacting with the public quite as much on the social internet as I have been. Because there's just way more of it now, and my main job is to make videos, after all, and it's been really draining my ability to do that. Which is why topic voting is going to go away, which is why Q&As are going to make a return. Like, I'm going to make a structured format for it here on Patreon. So if you want to ask me a question, I'm sorry, it costs $1 now. I know that's not ideal. I'm going to try. I think I'm going to also solicit questions through the Discord. To sort of help, so that it's not necessarily fully paywalled. Like, I don't want to fully pay, like, no one should have to pay me money to ask me questions, but like, I have to do something. I have to filter things somehow, unfortunately, and a paywall is one of the most effective ways to do that, which I'm not sure I like it very much, but there's a lot of things about becoming a more famous YouTuber that I don't like. There's a lot of stuff I like. I don't want to be negative about it. Like, More money, pretty good. That's why I can move, is because I'm making more money now. It's been wonderful, and I'm very grateful. It's just also every silver lining has a cloud, So yeah, so there's that. Also coming to the Patreon, some changes to the way I offer feedback on character designs. First of all, not a lot of people claim that reward. Like, I've sort of tried to remind people, like, hey, that this is a thing, you have to ask for it to get it, because I can't get in touch with everyone individually. And some people do, some people have tried, but mostly people don't. Like, they sign up for Patreon, they support me, to support me, which I'm very grateful for, but they don't really sign up for the rewards, so they don't really ask for them ever. And the trouble that leads to is that because there will be like months and months where nobody asks for any Patreon rewards, by the time someone does ask, it's sort of out of the blue for me. It's like, oh shit, like Patreon rewards. Fuck, yes, cool. Just hang on a second. I need to, and then I have to clear some schedule, and I have to move things around, or maybe I don't have time to it, and I get shoved on the pile of things that I need to get to, and then I either never get to it, or it becomes this really disjointed mess of a thing that takes weeks and weeks. And I don't like that. That has really been it's been a big source of annoyment. And a little bit of shame for me this year is that when people ask for their Patreon rewards, I have been phenomenally unprepared to actually provide them, because there's no structure. Like, there's no, like, they can happen anytime, any second, out of nowhere, and I have no way to schedule them or work around them. So I'm going to make some changes to that. I'm going to make it a set thing with a schedule that I can plan around. And if you don't claim the thing when you are scheduled to claim it, you lose out on it, unfortunately. Again, it's one of those things that just in order to make this work, in order to make me able to offer it at all, I have to systematize things a little bit, and I have to cut some things off. So that kind of sucks a little bit. But I'm gonna write up some much more specific documentation, like a guide on, if you want like feedback on a character or a character design that you have, here's how you ask for it, here's the information I need to know, and here is when you can definitely expect to get a response, like something very specific, so that you know what you're getting, how you're getting it, and when you're getting it. Oh wait, sorry for that sniff. I really want to make that a much more pleasant experience for everyone who wants it, and for me to give it. So that's one of my goals for the new year. And what it specifically looks like in terms of changes is that if you are on the enabler tier, which is sort of the lower tier, what you get is like a quick hot take, like you show me your character, you tell me who is this character, what are they about, and I'll sort of go over it and go, okay, I see this, I see this, I see this. That's good, that's good, that's good. I don't think that works. Maybe that doesn't work so well. Maybe you could change this thing into that thing. Like sort of a quick feedback around it. It's like a one and done thing, right? Whereas if you are on the Facilitator tier, which is sort of the higher tier, it'll be a more specific, personal, like back and forth feedback. Like, well, you'll tell me about the character, and I'll give you some feedback, and you'll ask some questions. I'll say, hey, do you think this could work? And it'll be more of a sort of back and forth dialogue a little bit, like where there's going to be some more service going on there. That's my plan anyway. That's sort of how I want to structure it. Which leads us on to the Cornerstone tier, which is the highest tier. This used to be a joke tier, kind of. Like, this used to be, haha, no one's going to use this ever, haha. Like, this used to be I can't imagine that anyone would ever want to pay this much for me to do anything. Along with the $100 true patron tier, I just didn't think anyone would ever use them. Turns out I was wrong about that, and so now I'm kind of stuck with, oops, I have to fulfill these rewards that I never thought I'd have to fulfill now. Uh-oh. And Cornerstone has the same problem as we've already talked about, which is that, as topic voting, basically, which is that there just is never a room in my schedule to make a video on request for a patron. Like, I've got a few requests sort of in my backlog that I keep meaning to get to, but I can never find the time. And again, there's this goddamn YouTube algorithm business bullshit that happens where if I make a video about a very specific topic that one person in my audience is interested in, there's a big risk that the entire YouTube audience that I have will not be very interested in it. And because they're not very interested in it, I get punished in the algorithm, and that has business consequences for me, which is like something I hate. I hate that I have to think about this, but I do have to, because I'm moving into a new apartment that's a lot more expensive than the one I'm living in right now. And if I want to be able to afford that, I have to run this business like it's actually a business a little bit. So that sucks. So suggesting a video topic twice a year from the Cornerstone tier is going away. If you are a Cornerstone member, if you've supported me there, if you wanted to claim a topic suggestion, I'm still going to try and honor that as much as I can. Like, I'm thinking of maybe doing a big sort of compilation. These are all the requests that I've gotten, and sort of like something that mitigates the damage in the algorithm. Like that means that I'm not taking like a business hit from doing it, but which I can still honor the requests that people gave me. Get in touch with me if you're a member of the Cornerstone tier and you want to claim some of that. Or, alternately, if you want a refund on your support, because I never was able to provide you with the reward I promised, absolutely get in touch. I will provide you with a refund. And this is not, don't worry about it. This doesn't hurt me. I have the money. Maybe I can't refund like 8 years of support on that tier in one go, but I can offer you refunds. So get at me in DMs or whatever if you want a refund on your support there, because you can have it. I promise you. But that's going to change. Instead of being video topic suggestions for the main channel, it's going to be shorts. You're going to be able to suggest a short once per month, because a short is something like I can make a short in like a couple of hours. Because it's 60 seconds, it's doable. I have a process for making shorts that makes it pretty quick. It's not like making one short that underperforms doesn't matter in the algorithm on shorts channels. Like, who cares? The algorithm doesn't care. So long as the next one is normal, it doesn't matter. So there's much less risk over there, and I can make shorts on topics that people ask for without causing damage, without taking a risk. So that's going to be the change there, is that the Cornerstone tier from now on will offer the ability to suggest a short once per month, right? And that doesn't stack. Like, if you wait 12 months and then you ask, you can't have 12 shorts all at once. I'm sorry, I can't offer that. But once every month, and I'm going to message people about it, they can suggest a topic for a short within a certain, like, it needs to be a topic that can be covered in 60 seconds, obviously, but that'll be a thing instead. And, like, if any of this makes, like, oh, that's not worth it for me or whatever, cancel your pledges. It's okay. You should do that. If you don't get what you want out of the Patreon, you shouldn't support it. Right? And I know a lot of people support it just to support me, which is, I'm not sure how I'm lucky enough to deserve that, but I'm really grateful that apparently I am. And that's okay. But like, if you were hoping for rewards and you're not getting them anymore, cancel your pledge. Don't feel bad about it. Like, the moment this thing isn't worth it for you, throw me to the curb. That's how you should treat online content creators, honestly. Yeah. I think that's all it changes. Yeah. I think so. But again, there's going to be a full list in the description, TLDRs and like explanations and descriptions and all of the information you need. It's going to be there. You can get at it, and it's going to be cool. I hope. Good for the new year. But nothing starts until I have moved in. Like, January is my month off. Nothing is happening in January. But February, once I've got my office set up and my computer is working and everything, back to the grind, and we'll get going. So, that was all the business talk, I think. Yes. Which means now it's time to be a little sincere for a second. Something that's really hard about my job that I hadn't expected it to be hard as much is to feel worthy of the help that I'm getting. Like, that's really difficult because this Patreon is growing bigger and bigger, and it's becoming like it's always been more money than I ever thought I'd receive in any kind of crowdfunding, but it's hard to feel worthy of it, especially when I promise you, if you are conscious of any of the flaws in my work, believe me, I am conscious of them too, and much more intensely than you are. Like, I'm always conscious about how much better I could do, and how much more time and how much more effort I could put in. And every time I rewatch one of my old videos, which I do less and less often because it kind of, especially as they get older, I see mistakes everywhere. And I go, God damn it, I should have included this thing, or I should have fixed that thing, or I should have brought this point up, or some people in the comments, like when I post a video and people in the comments clearly misunderstand one of my points, I go like, fuck, I should have explained this thing better, so that people would be able to, I'm I'm intensely aware of the limitations and the flaws in my work, and so it's hard to feel worthy of support. So if you have spent time watching my videos or any money on this goddamn Patreon or anything, like, I just want you to know I'm really genuinely very grateful for it. I know when I talk about it, mostly because it's business talk, I sound like it's a chore, because it kind of is in a little bit, but mostly I'm floored by it. Every time I look at it, I'm floored. Like, every time I look at that number going up, I go, how that number surely must stop going up at some point. This doesn't make it surprises me all over. And I'm really grateful for it. Like, the fact that I'm going to be able to move to like a bigger apartment where I can have an office and I don't have to work in my goddamn bedroom. You can see my bed over there. Where like I'll be able to have a living room for the first time in my life with a couch in it. At some point I'll save up for a couch. Like, holy shit, a couch. I haven't had one of those ever. Well, I mean, when I lived at home, with my parents and stuff I did, but I've never had my own couch, you know. That it means a lot to me. So I'm really grateful for all the support that I've been given, and for all of you for sticking around. Like, that's... I don't want to be the sort of crying YouTubers like, oh my god, I'm nothing without you guys, you're like my family. Like, that bullshit, no. Because I am not your friend, and you are not my friends, because we can't be, because I'm a stranger on the internet, and we don't know each other. The parasocial thing is, you know... But nonetheless, I am grateful. Like, it matters a lot to me that I've managed to succeed at this as much as I have. And yeah, I'm really lucky. So thank you for making me so lucky. And if you have any questions, anything you need to know, if you're a Patreon supporter, you can message. Like, not in January. I can't answer in January very much, because you know, because all of this. But message me, ask me any questions you need about the changes that are coming, and I'll do my best to answer as many of you as I possibly can. Anyway, I'm going to go back to packing things in boxes, and then packing those boxes into other boxes, and then putting those boxes on top of boxes, and cleaning up underneath where the boxes used to be because it's full of dirt, and yeah, and being snotty because of the dust. I'll be back in February with more videos and stuff. There's going to be one video in January, I think, on the main channel, and I'll see you all then. Be kind to each other, okay?